Hello once again, everyone. This is Joe from Feel Like Craps. My smiling mug is behind the camera again here, rather in front of the camera rather than behind it, as I usually am when we're rolling stuff out. But I want to take you through a little educational series here. We're going to have you see how the casino actually takes a little chunk out of each bet. More or less, this is how they keep a little bit of your bet to stay in business, more or less. Theoretically speaking, they're taking part of your bet on just about every bet. That they're not returning you a one-to-one payment on. You're not getting truly what you should be getting back based on dice probability and the true odds of these events occurring. Taking you back to 7th or 8th grade math, when you learned about, hopefully when you learned about dice probability and the way you have two six-sided dice, there are 36 possible combinations that you can can roll once the dice are rolled. We have 36 total combinations. 6 times 6. Assuming, of course, that the dice are not weighted and that we have everything, standard as it should be, there are 36 possible rolls, and you'll remember your dice probability charts. Basically, it works out very nicely with these probability charts. As we know, if we have our roll here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, the total of the numbers or the dots that appear on both dice after the roll has occurred. We're going to examine the number of combinations, what the odds are, in other words, odds being defined as the losers divided by the winners. So the losing bets divided by the winning bets should give us our true odds payments, and then you're going to see exactly what the payouts are for those bets, and you'll see right away that the casino and how they take the little bit out on each bet. What we hope to show you here by the end, and as well as give you an little educational tutorial, so to speak, on what the place bets actually pay and what the prop bets pay and whatnot, the proposition bets. So we'll start with the outside numbers, the 2 and the 3. The 2 has just one way to roll. You can only roll a 2 one way, 1, 1. Only one way. Same with the 12. Pair of 6s. Doesn't matter the order in which they appear. 6 and 6 makes 12, and there's only one way to get it. There are 36 possible rolls. Our number by this definition of odds, the losing rolls are 35. The winning rolls are 1. You can only roll it one way. And as we all know, 35 into 1, the proposition bet payout is 30 to 1. You're only getting 30 to 1 when by true probability you should be getting 35 to 1. So the casino is taking a little off the top because you get 30 to 1 for that payout. And again, same goes down here. For the 12, it's also a 35 to 1 if we use this definition of odds. The losing combinations divided by the winners, and we will use a colon instead of a hyphen for the odds. Next order of business is the 3 and the 11. They both have 2 ways to roll. For the 3, 2, 1, or 1, 2. For the 11, 6, 5, or 5, 6. And what do we got? We got 36. We have 2 ways to win. So we've got 2 winners minus, take that away from the 36 and we have 34 losers. So 34 divided by 2, make a little space there, 34 divided by 2, which becomes 17 to 1. We'll just duplicate that down there, because the 11 is going to have the same deal with the payout. And the casino, of course, the prop bet for a 3 or an 11, you get 15 to 1. So they're taking a little bit off the top there too. Before I get to the 4, 5, and 6 and the 8, 9, and 10, the place numbers, we're going to deal with our buddy. Our buddy has the most combinations that you're able to roll, that are able to be rolled. Out of all the 36 combinations, there are 6 ways he can roll. Off the top of my head, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 5, 5, 2, 6, 1, 1, 6. So those are your 6 possible combinations for the 7. Losers divided by winners. For the 7, how many losers are there? This is actually tabulated a little different, because you're going, it's a 1 roll bet. So 36 minus our 6 brings us 30 to 1, 30 to 6 rather, 30 to 6, which should be, true odds would be 5 to 1. 36 minus 6 is 30, and the number of winners is 6. So that's going to be a 5 to 1. What does the casino do on an any 7 bet, which, by the way, we all know it's the most horrible bet. It has the highest house edge imaginable in the game. They pay you 4 to 1. So they're going to take a little off of that too. Any 7 will pay 4 to 1. Now for these guys, the 4, 5, and 6, and the 8, 9, and 10. These, if you'll excuse my horrible attempt at writing, are referred to as our place numbers. These are the numbers that are on the top part of the layout, the craps layout, and their convention is a little different. We're not basing our losers over our winners on the 36 roll deal, because 36, we can't lose this bet on those 36 rolls. Once we have a point, these only are worried about 2 things. And to continue here, the 4 has, the number of combinations is really easy to remember because it just goes up the pyramid. So this is 3 and 4 and 5. 3 ways to roll a 4, 4 ways to roll a 5, 5 ways to roll a 6, 6 ways to roll big red. And then we go back down the pyramid. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now our place bets here, they could care less about 2, 3, 11, and 12. Care less about them. Once the point's established, if these numbers roll, we don't care. It doesn't cause these bets to win or lose. The only thing that causes these bets to win or lose is the number themselves, or the number itself rather, or the 7. The 7 is going to kill it. So, in other words, the only way these bets can lose is on a 7. Once they're established. We're not talking about hardway rolls or anything like that. We're talking a regular place bet. Hardways are a different beast. Our losers are always going to be 6 because there's 6 ways to lose these bets. Always a 6 on the end. 6 ways to lose. The only question is, what's on the other side? It's easy. What's on the other side? There's 3 ways to win this one. 3 ways, 3 combinations, 4 and 5. So we're going to do 3, 4, and 5. And the same thing goes here. We're going to go down. 4 and 3. There you have your true odds, where odds are defined as the number of losers, or the number of losing combinations divided by the number of winning combinations, the number of ways there are to win. We're going to reduce these down. The 6 to 3 will become 2 to 1. The 6 to 4 will become 3 to 2 in simplest terms. The 6 to 5 is in simplest terms, so we don't need to do any reducing there. That's going to be 2 to 1. And that's how we get our true odds payments. For the payouts now, these are place payouts. Place payouts. The place payout on a 4 or 10 is 9 for every 5. So they're taking a little off the top. 9 to 5. Now, 2 to 1, which is the true odds payment, would be 10 to 5. 10 for every 5 would reduce to 2 to 1. They're taking a unit out of that. They're going to take a unit for themselves and give you the remainder. For a 5 and a 9, a place bet on a 5 or 9 is going to return 7 for every 5. $7 for every $5 bet. This is a little more complicated for you to see the number. They are actually taking it, they're taking a little cut. Because if you look, 3 to 2, 3 to 2 is equal to 1.5. 1.5. 7 to 5 is 1 2/5. 2.5 over 5 would be 1.5. So you see, this is a little less than a half. So they're still taking a cut when you're getting your place bet. You're not getting true odds on a place bet by design. And our 5, our 6 and our 8 rather, on a place bet, the casino has really made it interesting. They're going to go 7 for every 6 instead of 6 for 5. And the math on that, 6 for every 5, which is the true odd payment, would be 1 1/5. That would be 1, and then 1/5, a 20th of a cent. So $1 and a 20th of $1 and 20 cents. So, and now we're going to do 7 for 6, which is 1 1/6, which is even less than that. 1/6 is less than 1/5. Not by much, but it is less. So you're, I can't think off the top of my head what, 6 divided by 1, .1, and then I'm gonna have, what am I gonna have here? I'm gonna have 40, so that's gonna be 6, and I'm gonna have a repeater, aren't I? 6 and a 10, a 6 goes 6, and that's gonna be a 4, so this is gonna be a 1.67, a 1.6 with a bar over it. It's gonna be $1.67. Actually, yes, 1.16, and then the 1 divided, the 1/5 is 5 divided by 1, and that's going to be 20. That's going to be 0.20, so you can see that 1.6 is less than 1.2, so 1.16 is less than 1.2, so that's how that works. So they're taking a little chunk out, but that's on a place bet. The place bets, of course, are the top of the table, the numbers that the puck goes on when a shooter establishes a point. We have 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, which is, they're usually, the 5 and the 9 are usually spelled out, and that's actually very nice of them to do. A place bet is usually placed right about in here on the number. It's right down toward the bottom edge of the number. When you place it, they will return you, for the place numbers, they'll return you these odds when they hit. And of course, with true odds, we can always do that with a pass line bet. If you're on the pass line, and we have a point, say a point of 8, whatever, the puck is on the 8, and we have a place bet, we have to have a pass line bet to do odds. So the odds bet would go behind your pass line bet. And if the point hits, you'll get paid 1-to-1 on your pass line, and the odds payment will return you what the true odds were for that place number. So in our instance, we have a point of 8. We want to make sure, of course, so we get the maximum payment, that we're betting in increments of 5 back here for a 6 and 8, because we're going to get 6 for every 5. If we had a 5 or a 9 as the point, we would want it to be even. The E, they end in E, so the odds have to be even if we're in the back, because we're on 2. It's 3-to-2 return. So every $2 we bet, we're going to get $3 back for every $2 we bet. So it makes sense that we have an even number so that we don't get our additional winnings chopped off. And 4 and 10, oh yeah, there we go, Joe. 9 and 9, that's wonderful. How about a 10? The 4 and the 10, true odds is 2-to-1. That odds bet would return 2-to-1. Should we hit the point before we hit our buddy. Very simple to follow. As far as the place bets are concerned, I do want to touch on that briefly. Why we always say, watch your units when you're betting. And I want to preface this by saying I could care less one way or the other. You bet how you want to bet. If you wanna bet $5 on a 5, 9, a 4, if you wanna bet a $5 increment bet on a 6 and 8, go right ahead. It's your money. You bet with it how you'd like to bet with it. I am not one to judge. If it's me, I'm going to stick to the conventions. The conventions are going to make sure I get the most money for what I put out there. With these place bets on the 6 and the 8, make sure it's 7 for 6. So basically what we're doing, we're getting 7/6 of our bet returned back to us as a win. So it makes sense to have a multiple of 6, because this is 7 divided by 6. That's our conversion factor. That's what we're going to be converting with a win. So we want to make sure that what's on top of here is divisible by 6, or else it's not going to work. You're going to end up with an improper fraction that's going to get rounded down when it comes payment time. Just to show you, for instance, if I bet a $6 place bet on the 6, what's going to happen? I'm going to let X, we're going to use another little bit of math here. X is going to be our bet. We know that we're going to get 7 times our bet over 6 if a 6 or an 8 hits. This is for the 6 or the 8 on a place bet. 7 for every 6, so if I start with a $6 unit, it makes sense that these two 6s are going to cancel out and I'm going to get a $7 return. What happens though if I bet $5? If I stick to my $5 bet, what do I have? I have 7 times 5 over 6 for my return payout. That's 35 over 6. Casino is going to round that down. That's going to be a $5 win. You're going to have $5. You don't quite get to the 6. You're going to have 5/6 remaining. They're going to chop the 5/6 off and give you the 5. They're not going to round up to that 6. You're going to get 5. The casino will always round down when it is to your advantage and will round up when it is to their advantage in general. So that's your 6 and 8. We'll take a look at the 5 and 9 and the 4 and 10 are easier because they're all increments of 5. And we basically have $5 chips that we deal with at the casino. So that's awfully convenient, is it not? The 5 and the 9 return 7 for every 5, as we've said. 7 for every 5 on the 5 and 9. So that's 7 times our bet over 5, which again, we want to make sure that we're betting in 5, so we always end up with a cancellation. And this will work for anything. Say I had a $120 bet on this 5. I totally could. 7 times 120, as long as it's a multiple of 5, we're okay. And this 120 happens to be a multiple of 5, so it's going to cancel out and give us the number of units that we actually had on that. So this is going to be 5 times 2 is 10, and that's going to be 4. We had 24 units, and now we're going to, our 24 units is going to get $7 a unit. So that's going to be 8, 14 and 2 is 16. It's going to pay 168. just to show you. That's a $120 bet example. And again, if you want to plug it into Excel, just tell Excel 7/5 times your bet. That's the 5 and 9. The 4 and 10. Get 9 to 5. So in other words, what we're doing is we're getting 9/5 of our bet returned to us as a win. And again, keep it in multiples of 5. And you're going to easily find out what your payment is. If your bet is $10, you have 9 times 10 on top over 5. That cancels. You get 2 units and you're going to get returned $18. Just like what you would do, a prop bet would work the same way. It's 30 times, well actually this is just 30 times whatever the bet is. If X is our bet, 30 times our bet is going to be what we get back. And so on and so forth. With true odds, same thing. It's just 3 times whatever the bet was divided by 2 for a 5 and 9. So again, very important with the 5 and 9 on an odds bet. This is for odds. We want to keep it even because we're going to get 3 for every 2 that we bet. 3 halves our bet. We're going to get 1/2 of our bet. Our bet plus half of whatever our bet was. So it does make sense to keep it even. Because you want this to cancel out. You want this X to be a multiple of 2 so that it cancels out. And you end up with nice clean numbers and no rounding down. We do not want the casino to round our winnings down. At least I don't. I can't speak for everyone else in the audience. Some strategies work very well with that. I've seen some craps channels where they're perfectly okay with getting that chopped off. And you know what? All the power to you. It's not the way I would play it, but it's to each person, it's their own money, and they can spend it how they wish to spend it, and it can make them whatever profit they'd like to make. So with that being said, that's our little excursion here into the place bets, true odds, and a little bit of dice probability here as well. This is Joe from Feel Like Craps. I hope you find this information informative, and I hope it makes sense. Any questions, please, of course, feel free to leave comments. I do have an email. It is 2312craps@gmail.com. 2312craps@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments or anything along those lines, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel as always. Dislikes are okay too. Please feel free to dislike. You don't have to like the content that's being put out either. Totally up to you. Good either way for me. On that note, till the next time we meet, and as always, may those dice gods be forever in your favor.